door trim, cleaned everything up. Well, almost about to touch that little bit of paint up, and then I'll give that a good clean. So yeah, I've got it all out, cleaned it all up, it's all done and out. Car definitely needs a wash, so please excuse the fact that it's filthy, but I just haven't had time to flat out working. So yeah, why I've taken it out is because if you notice, if you look on here, it's starting to rust. So this actual Type R trim, common fault with these, it's all metal, it's starting to rust. The reason why it's starting to rust is because you've got a little indentation there, and you can see there's quite a bit of dirt in there, which is from water, and it's starting to rust on the top there as well. So this is where water sits and gets trapped and just stays there until you get a warm day and it dries out. So wet weather, you're going to get a ton of water in there. So I went online. I was going to buy some new ones. I thought, well, I'll just spend the money and get some new ones. And I had a look at the back of them, because obviously I need to remove these, and on the pictures it's like that. And what I've come to realize is that this metal trim is actually separate, and the tabs are folded in. So I've come up with my own idea of what I'm actually going to do with this. So my plan is that I'm going to sand all this down, level it all off, because there's a few dinks, and you do get a lot of dinks in these. I don't know why, but they do tend to get quite a few dinks and stuff. So yeah, this isn't too bad, but you can see there is some imperfections. So it's all going to get filled, smoothed down, and then my plan is that I'm going to get some carbon wrap, maybe carbon, maybe black. I'm not sure what color I'm going to do just yet, but I'm going to get some wrap that you would wrap a car with. Not a lot. I mean, you can get it from like eBay. You just a little roll about 5 centimeters wide, I think. So I'm going to wrap the whole thing. So smooth it all down, wrap it. Once it's all wrapped, I'm then going to get some decals, so the Type and then the R in red. I've messaged someone in eBay, they haven't got back to me, so I'm going to probably message them again today, which is a good reminder actually. And then once that's done, I'm planning on, once it's stuck on, either lacquering it. If not lacquering it, then getting myself some epoxy. And what I'm going to do is just epoxy this individually to begin with. So just this bit, but I rework and I epoxy. And then somehow, maybe with the epoxy, I'm going to fill this bead all the way around and try and smooth it off. If I can smooth it off, it means that water is no longer going to sit on here. It's just going to run off. And what I've done here is I've literally put a load of ceramic wax on here. And because it's a part that's not going to be seen, what I'm probably going to do is the next time I come to work on this or put these trims back on, I'm actually going to put a dollop of wax on there to stop water sitting there, because water literally is pooling and sitting. When I clean this up, it was literally just gunk, and you can see water's been resting in each one of these channels, which obviously isn't good for this trim. It's all metal, so it's going to batter it. So yeah, that's basically my plan. Let's see how it goes. Alright, I just wanted to show you how I've lifted all of these tabs up. So along those pliers, just push them underneath, and then just give it a lift like that, and same on the other side. I wouldn't do it like completely vertical. A little kink is not too bad, like a little diagonal, as you can see there. It's not exactly vertical. So I'm hoping now that it should, there we go, just push out, and I should be able to get this trim off so that I can then start filling it. And there we are. And that's it. It's off. It's still got the old cover, like protective film, plastic film cover when it's new. so it's actually like still bits that you can see there. So yeah, now I can have a look at sorting this out. So I'll deal with, like I said, deal with all these dents, get them all filled or pushed back or something, and that's that. So there you have it. So that's the plastic bit, that's the metal. Alright, okay, you can see that the top one has been filled and just waiting for it to dry enough for me to sand it down. The bottom one, it's already been done. What I've done, you can see a tiny bit of filler there after sanding it down, a little bit of filler there in the right corner. And what I've done is sanded the whole strip down with a 1200 grit sandpaper, smoothed it all down, and gave it a good clean. So it's now ready for the sticky carbon fibre wrap. So yeah, we'll get onto that and I'll show you that next. Right guys, so this is the adhesive wrap that I bought from eBay. It's really sticky. You can see that the trim's stuck onto it. I thought I'd be able to lift it and get it over onto the lip, but it's not as flexible as I thought, and I think heating it is going to distort it. So it's only a cheap roll. This is basically the roll that I bought. It's like a carbon fibre fake look. It's adhesive. It can be restuck, so it can be taken off and stuck again. It's quite strong adhesive. So, right, this has been cut around. So, moment of truth. Let's see how it looks. So this is the kind of finish. It's like a glossy kind of finish. So let's flip this over. The good thing is because you're cutting against metal, you can actually get a really good precise cut. So I'm actually happy about that. So let's have a look and see how it looks. Right, so these are now stuck on, distance correctly both sides. So moment of truth, let's see how they look. So yeah, let's peel this one off. Okay. Yeah, I'm impressed with that, looks good. This one, let's give it a try. Yeah, so there we go, that's done. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to figure out, I may still paint the edges, and just with like a touch-up brush, just go around and just literally very carefully paint the edges. Got some epoxy it in, and these remount onto the plastic. Okay, so this is now sprayed up, well, these are sprayed up. I've put the film on the front. So what I did was I sprayed the back of this metal strip with some underbody seal, and then obviously it goes quite sticky, and it's like an oil base, so it comes off. So then I had some clear gloss kicking about, so then I hit it over the top. Once it dried, I hit over the top with clear gloss. Once that was done, flipped it over and I stuck on the vinyl wrap in carbon, left it bigger, stuck it all on, and then once it was stuck down, I got a Stanley knife, just the blade, and holding it like this, just cut around the edge all the way around. So by doing that, you can see there's a bit of silver showing all the way around, which I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna seal this again with something. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna seal it in. I tried on, I think it's this one, on one corner here, to use like a marker pen or something, but it didn't actually work, so I thought, right, okay, it's pointless using a marker. And I don't have the patience or the time to get a fine paintbrush and paint around this edge, so I'm going to leave it, and yeah, it should be alright. So now I ordered a Type R transfer. So basically this is actually for wing mirrors. I bought it on eBay and it had Civic there, which I'd cut out because I don't want it to look stupid. So yeah, this is now going to get stuck on, so I'm going to center it. You can see there's a couple of, still a dink there and one there, and the reason why is because I tried to fill like I did with this one, but with that particular one I had to lift this off, and as I lifted it off it pulled off the filler. So, and the reason why is because it's like a satin smooth bit of metal underneath, so filler's not going to stick very well. So I thought, right, you know what, don't worry about it, scrap that idea and just go ahead and get it all stuck on. This one stayed pretty good, that one not great, but it doesn't matter, I'm not overly bothered. So yeah, so that's the actual transfer to go on. Like I said, it's for wing mirrors, back of wing mirrors, but it's exact same size as what's underneath this, so it's perfect. And you've got a choice of the R obviously is always in red, but you got a choice of this, either white, black or silver. So I've got it in silver. So what I'm now going to do is center, remove the whatever the length is. I think it's about 16 centimeters or 14 centimeters, can't remember. So the whole thing is 84, take away like 14 and then divide the remaining by 2. Gives me my distance from there to there, and then I know it's perfectly centered. So I'm going to do the same thing on both of them. This is the epoxy mixed up. So it's 2 to 1, 1 part hardness, 2 parts of resin. I went to a craft shop and bought this. It was like £16, and it's 150 mil of like, 50 mil of hardener and 100 mil of resin. And to be honest, you get that much, and that's just like, a third of what I've got in the box used, and that's more than enough to Alright, here we go. So it's epoxied, and initially when I tried it, I brushed on some epoxy, and underneath it's so like shiny, I couldn't get the epoxy to stay. It was just literally just running off all over the place. So what I did was I got clear lacquer, I lacquered it at first, and then once I lacquered it, it kind of made it a little bit rougher, and then I brushed on some epoxy, and I used the heat gun, heated up the epoxy, dried it all off to a point where it just went a little bit tacky, and then what I found was, as it was going tacky, I started to see like high and low spots, or like almost like craters appearing. So what I then did was I had quite a bit of epoxy in the shot glass anyway, so I basically got it onto the brush quite thick and just dabbed it everywhere, almost like the only way I can explain it is like doing self-leveling compound. So wherever I saw real low spots, I just dabbed a load of it, let it all start meeting in the middle and then coming out. So what I found was, as I dried it, it did all start meeting into the middle, and then there wasn't a lot on the outside edges. So what that meant is that there is a slight concave in this, which was great. So it meant that I could just quickly just dab a load of epoxy into this and fill it up. So that's actually full now of epoxy, and it isn't overflowing, which is good. I think as it dries, I am going to get some low spots again, but that's fine. I can then fill that again. It's not an issue. So yeah, so that's it basically. So that's the stickers on. Got to let the epoxy dry now, 12 hours, and fully dry in 24. So I think I'm going to give it 12 hours, and then have a look, see if there's any high and low spots. Mix up a little bit more, but this time I'll mix it up so that it dries off real fast, because you can get epoxy to dry in sort of like 10-15 minutes just by adding more hardener. So I think I'm going to do that. and then that'll get me where I need to be so that I can get this attached and on tomorrow. Alright, so this is finally dry. So that's the door sill trim. You can see I've basically finished it off, epoxied the top, Typar stuck underneath, like deep in there. So yeah, that's good. Happy with it. It needs a good polish now because I've basically put acrylic lacquer over the top, and that's kind of dulled it out a little bit, but that's fine. It just needs a polish, so gonna get this mounted into here and then give it a good polish. So how I'm going to mount it, so this is the plastic trim that it sits in. What I've done is I've had a look to see what the issue is, and there's a load of water, like I said earlier in the video, that sits underneath this. So in the hope of trying to rectify that, what I did was I bought some foam, and I've stuck foam all the way along and all the way around. Can't do it on the top edge. It's very close to the actual pins when they fold over. Having said that, and then obviously you've got the trim in that. Having said that, I may try and have a look at attempting to do something with it. I don't know, but if not, I'm just gonna put it on. It should be all right. The main thing is the foam here, I'm hoping will stop the water running down into it. So what the water's actually doing is coming down both sides, and then obviously making its way behind there, or underneath rather. So yeah, so now next plan is that I'm going to run a bead of black silicone. I think you can see the gap all the way around. So I'm going to run a bead of black silicone all the way around in there, and then bed that into the silicone, fold it all over on the back, and let that dry. I've got a silicone tool so I can just tidy it up, clean it all off all the way around, and then once that's done, probably put some silicone on these bits here as well as I'm putting the clips in. So put the clips in, silicone around there, and what I've also done is on the back of this I've basically applied 2 coats of clear lacquer all along there as well, and on this edge. So I think I've done as much as I can in order to stop this from rusting in the future and keep it protected. So yeah, I'll get it mounted and get it onto the car. Okay, that's done, polished. Clips are on the back, ready to go. We're going to get it into the car. Okay guys, that's done. Giving it a clean. Need to let the silicone go off and dry properly. But that's that. Tell me what you think. Hopefully it looks good, better than it did before. I mean, I'm happy with it. It still needs another polish, but I need the silicone to go off and dry properly. But I've got it in. If you ever decide to do this, or you do decide to do this, the foam works brilliantly. It's like it's gone really tight, pushing it down. But just be careful because it raises it up. It pinches onto this seal. So what you have to do, I would recommend getting a bit of silicone grease, spraying silicone spray onto that, like a silicone spray. Pop this on, and then you can pull the rubber out easier. What happens is it gets compressed and pushed in like that and pinched, so you need to pull it up and out. So yeah, I should have thought of that and done that. I didn't, but yeah, I'm happy with it. It looks good and I am impressed. So yeah, that's that done. Hopefully you liked the video, and yeah, let me know what you think.